Here are 10 things that I noticed from the marathon reveal that you might have missed. From the very first throwing knife, it's very obvious there is some Destiny inspiration, some OG Bungie vibes going on here with the animations, the movement, and even some of the gunplay and the sniping. It feels familiar, but I don't think that that is a bad thing. In the case of Destiny, I understand people may not like that genre of game, maybe they don't like the PvP, but you cannot deny that the gunplay feels good. The animations are crisp, the movement is fluid. It is a good feeling game, and I think that that is going to be a pro for Marathon. This leads into my next point. Bungie has been developing an MMO-like experience for the last decade. That means that the combatants that you're going to be fighting in the game are going to be a lot more interesting than a lot of the ones that I've seen recently. In many games, it's super easy to cheese the NPCs, whether it's Dark and Darker or you're playing something more military-like, like Tarkov. I find a lot of the NPC experience boring. In this game, they're going to use grenades, they are going to use invis, they are going to be sniping you from a rooftop, and I'm really excited about that. Because a lot of the extraction games that are out there, I find very boring. It's why I don't play them. I understand why people like them, and this may be too arcadey for other people, but in the very first section where I watched gameplay of Dr. Lupo, I want to talk about something here. Even in this first NPC encounter, as they start engaging on the enemies, not only are they starting to fight back and flank from other areas, it even indicates that one of the NPCs has ran off to set some sort of alarm. They are a little bit smarter than you might expect, and there is more action in this game than I've seen in like an hour of Dr. Lupo playing Tarkov. Lupo is an aggressive player. He dashes in with shields and does all these different things, and he plays Tarkov a very similar way, but there's just no characters on the map to fight, it feels like. Half the time when I watch Tarkov, I'm watching them do nothing. 95% of any stream I've ever tuned in is boring, in my opinion, because there's just no fighting. And the big one fight that you get in is tense. It is exciting, but I would much rather play a game like this that is a more arcadey feel, with not only NPC combatants, but as you can see, there's even some fauna and other things we may have to deal with. Now, there's going to be different maps that I'm sure have different combatants and threats, but a very important thing is Tox. They mention this multiple times during the live stream because it is a debuff or poison that's going to be applied to you depending on the weapons that combatants or players are using, but also environmental effects. They even made a bit of a joke about a trap. Maybe you enter a room, open a chest, and the entire room floods with toxicity. There's a good chance that there are certain builds to counter this, and it's the only way to farm certain areas. This has me excited, because you may not have the best gear for fighting, but you have the best gear for looting particular secret rooms. When talking about loot, they reference not only attachments and cores and all these other things which we'll discuss in a minute, but they did discuss keys, potentially keys to open more advanced areas or secret chests, yada yada yada. They really doubled down on a lot of these areas being guarded well. That could also mean traps and other things that are going to impede your progress when trying to get the best of the best.
Again, everything kind of costs something, right? Getting shot, like, you're not going to have like a limb system where like, you know, your limb's broken or anything, but you will, like, guns do stopping power, right? Which they can knock you out of sprint, they can slow you down, right? Status effects are still in the game. And so if you are hit with a chem grenade, right, you're gonna be toxed.
This is an important moment in the stream because not only are they referencing getting shot in the leg, kind of like Tarkov, and having to limp around or crawl around, they're also referencing these different ailments and tox, and the fact that you're going to need some sort of antidote or you may be crippling your run. I like the idea of counterplay, but I don't like the idea of getting a rogue bullet in the leg and feeling like I can't play properly. This game is going to be a lot faster, and that is something exciting. That being said, you can get punished by a sniper rifle to the dome. As you can see here, you've got that sniper glint in the distance. You have ways of putting players down quickly, but it does have a little bit of that Destiny or Halo time to kill. If someone tags you in the leg, you can use your burst dash to get behind cover and reassess the situation. You can pop your smokes or invisibility and outplay them behind a car. And I think that this playstyle, at least for me, is 10 times more exciting. It seems like I'm not just going to get shot in the back with one bullet and be down and out. This feels like counterplay in your mechanical skill, as well as game knowledge with things like antidotes and things like that. Now, at the launch of the game, they're going to have 6 different characters, but they only touch on the 4 that will be available for the alpha. We've got a soldier-like character, we've got Glitch, we've got Blackbird, we've also got Void, and they're all going to have strength and weakness. Locust can use a shield as well as a dash. Blackbird is much more used for reconnaissance and information, while Glitch can dive in and out of that fight and even has an arm cannon in close combat situations if you need to disturb that fight. There's also Void that can use smokes and go invisible. This is a very interesting thing to me because now you also have that class system. Do you want to run a team that has some sort of knowledge gainer? Or do you want to just run and gun with 3 different players playing Locust? And this is a big thing that they revealed. You don't have to play separate characters. You can all be Void, you can all be Glitch, whatever you want to do for that team comp, you can do, and I think that is great. But here's the best part. They started talking about augments and cores, which are going to fundamentally change how you play your character. Not only will it improve stats, allowing you to potentially run longer and faster on someone like Locust, they even discuss ability-changing cores and ways that you can turn your double jump into a triple jump, and they reference golden augments. This sounds exactly like Destiny and the exotic system that they have, taking one unique item that completely changes the way some of your abilities work, and that is exciting. You can find a piece of loot that all of a sudden, instead of carrying your shield as Locust, you might be able to slam it into the ground and use it as a portable cover. This is awesome. It gives so much more variety to the characters, and if it's anything like some of the things that I've seen in Destiny, I think they're going to nail it.
You keep the depth of the survival game, but the approachability of the action game, right? And so that's how we're trying to marry that together. And in addition to that, if you have some bad runs, right, like, and you don't have a lot of, you see your loot kind of going down, we have the sponsored kits, like it's kind of talking in the video earlier, where it's a package of gameplay items like weapons or equipment or maybe a shield or something, or consumables. Yeah. That's kind of like the floor for what we think you can be really, like, you can be capable in the environment and actually like fight other players that actually are kitted out. So you're never feeling like, the goal is that you can always clutch even if you find somebody who's completed kitted out in like really high-end gear, because that's your payday, right? That's like the beauty of the moment of like, oh my God, I took this player and oh, they have the best shield in the game. Hell yeah.
And that's the dream, isn't it? I want to outskill someone, take all their loot, and feel like I just got a payday. But they also discuss the sponsored loot. If you end up not having a lot of good gear, you can go in with essentially a base kit and still hopefully compete. But they also kind of teased in one of the trailers that you might be able to revive a teammate mid-match and they just come back with a sponsored kit instead of their main gear. So it's a way that they can get back into the fight instead of just one and done and being down with a teammate the entire time. Now, I can understand this sounds a little glazy, and I wasn't paid to say any of this, but this is one of the first extraction games where I'm genuinely interested. When I saw Dark and Darker, I tried it, it was pretty fun, and I liked the overall dungeon diving vibe. But I didn't play it long term. I've tried Tarkov in the past, but I just found it insanely boring. Like the worst parts of a BR game when there's almost no one around. Even when I would go to the points of interest and I would try to get aggressive, it just wasn't stimulating enough. And I feel like Marathon might be a little bit different. More NPCs, more dueling, a little bit cooler fights that play into that Bungie, Halo, Destiny vibe. If you're not a fan of those games, you might not like this, but for me, this is the first time I'm actually considering covering and playing an extraction shooter, period. Maybe after the alpha, I'm gonna feel stupid for saying any of this, but I am definitely excited for this game. However, I also know that at the initial playtests of the game, There's a lot of bad feedback. But at the most recent one, there was a lot better feedback and they seemingly have made some good changes. I just question, was it worth essentially pulling most of your Destiny PvP people off of that game to make this one? I've seen how fun Destiny PvP can be, but does it translate into an extraction shooter that is very, very different? I know it's going to feel good. I have a feeling it's going to play well overall. But is it going to take the market share from other games like Tarkov, considering it is more arcadey instead of this military tac shooter thing? Thanks for watching, and I guess we'll see what happens. Bye bye.